All right, time to get everybody caught up on what's happening with the Jets head coaching search. So yesterday, obviously, Mike Vrabel went to the Patriots. We all saw that coming, but I'm kind of bummed about it. I really wanted Vrabel to be part of this team. I thought he would bring a level of accountability and a level of toughness that we haven't seen in a very long time. But now we get to play against him twice a year. So that's just great. With all that cap money and a quarterback, a budding star in Drake May, I think that the Patriots are going to turn it around fairly quick with someone like Mike Vrabel. And it's just going to make the division tougher. So now the Jets got to pivot. I see a lot of names out there that they have to go offense. I'm not particularly set on going on once, choosing a coach based on what side of the ball that they coached. I would more like someone who has that, that aura around them, has that ability to motivate players, has the ability to really get underneath somebody's skin and get them to play at their hardest. And if I'm being real with myself, the person that I see the Jets should target and should bring in is Aaron Glenn. I think he's the next best person on the list of coaching candidates, and I am having a hard time finding a reason to not bring him in. Look, guys like Ben Johnson and guys like Cliff Kingsbury, we know Ben Johnson already told the Jets to go scratch. I don't even think Cliff Kingsbury is set up with a interview at this point. But there are better options right now for those offensive guys to take jobs, especially with like the Raiders. But with the Jets, you have someone who played for the team. You have someone that was in a Belichick system, who was a Belichick defense, who was, underneath the tutelage of Parcells, who knows what it takes to win and is part of the rebuilding process with the Lions. And again, he was with us from 94 to 2001. He wasn't supposed to leave. I believe he ended up getting drafted in the expansion draft. And he started off with the Browns in 2014. He's got a lot of ties to the Saints. He was there from 2016 to 2020. So that's going to be really who you're going to be negotiating against is the Saints. He's got a lot of roots there. He knows a lot of people there. A lot of the guys that were there while he was there are still with the organization. So it will be a more comfortable fit for him. But talking to people close to the team, people that I have spoken to about the interview, it went really well. And a lot of people that I'm talking to are telling me that he is likely the front runner at this point. We've also heard that he wants to come back to the Jets. That I've heard multiple people say that it is his dream job. If that's his dream job to come to the Jets, you would hope that someone like that, who has that ability to motivate players and has that aura about them, would bring in a level of emotion and want to fix this team. Right? He was part of that 98 team that came this close to getting to the Super Bowl. I would hope that he would want to finish the job. And that's why I'm really putting my chips behind Aaron Glenn. He's doing something in Detroit with a lot of guys hurt. He just made the big bad Vikings and Sam Darnold look ridiculous. So much to the point where he was able to sit on the bench and relax because he had the game in hand in the middle of the fourth quarter. We've seen that before. We saw some guys on Twitter comparing that to Adam Gase sitting on the bench. But that's a lot different because Adam Gase didn't know what the hell he was doing. Meanwhile, Aaron Glenn is sitting on the bench, nobody around him, because he has everything set. He knows what he's doing. He knows what winning looks like from not only being with Parcells and with the Jets, but rebuilding that Lions organization, or being part of that Lions organization. Crazy thing with the Lions, they could lose their defensive and offensive coordinator in one offseason. That's kind of wild. It's going to be interesting how they retool if Aaron Glenn gets a job. I think he will get a job. I hope he gets our job. Because again, from what I was told, it was a strong interview. And just to put this out there also, we've also been hearing rumblings that Rex Ryan is completely out of the running. Makes sense. The guy hasn't been in the league for almost a decade now. I don't think he has the contacts to put together a coaching staff. And honestly, he's making a fool of himself on ESPN, talking about how if he's there, Josh Allen isn't going to be making the plays that he makes, or now he hopes he gets the chance to beat up on Vrabel twice a year. He's making himself look really bad. And I would hope that the Jets, well, it seems like from what I'm hearing and what other people are saying, is that he is completely out of the running. It's not going to happen. So thank God for that. I love Rex, but he is a coach from a different time, a different era. It's not going to work here. Now, from the offensive side of the ball, we talked about Ben Johnson. We talked about Cliff Kingsbury. But there's two other names out there that a lot of fans want to see. The first one is Matt Nagy. Now, Nagy did not have the greatest head coaching experience when he was with the Chicago Bears. He's now the offensive coordinator with the Chiefs. But let's be real. Like, if you're the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, what are you really doing? Right? Just like with Hackett here. What were you really doing this year? Because let's be honest, Andy Reid is calling those plays. Andy Reid is the architect of that offense. So I'm not sold on Matt Nagy. He had a terrible showing with Chicago, and I don't think he's a good fit, to be quite honest with you. The other one is Arthur Smith. Now, Arthur Smith was interviewed back in 2001 when the Jets were looking for a head coach. They also tried bringing him back in as an offensive overseer, whatever the hell that means, because they didn't believe in Hackett. So they are really high on Arthur Smith. And I get it. He was with Vrabel in Tennessee and got Ryan Tannehill to where got Ryan Tannehill in that offense to a championship game. He's now the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's hard to judge him because not only because you have Justin Fields and you have Russell Wilson, who's fallen off a cliff. The tape on that playoff game, yesterday's playoff game was it yesterday's or was it Saturday's? Can't remember. I think it was Saturday's. The tape of that playoff game is terrible from an offensive standpoint. So it's really hard to judge what Arthur Smith could bring. I would hope that it's more of Russell Wilson falling off a cliff. But I'm not totally sold on Arthur Smith either. I want someone that I think is a much better motivator of men. You saw that in Hard Knocks with Aaron Glenn when the Lions, I think it was 2022 when they were on Hard Knocks. You saw a lot of tape on him. I saw a lot of things that I liked. I wouldn't say he's a Jet legend. He was here for a very long time. He was a very good player. He wasn't supposed to leave when he did. And from what we've heard from beat writers and from what we've heard from quote NFL insiders, this is his dream job. And let's hope that he gets a shot because I think he deserves it. And I think he can bring a level of accountability to this team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.